I'm gonna open with a lot of Travis Scott. I feel like this season, a lot of players picking Travis Scott up for their walk-up music. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Empire 161 Show, episode 10 of season 4, and let's go. The Monday afternoon special. So happy Juneteenth, everybody. That's why we're off and able to do the show. So that's awesome. Glad it's a national holiday and everything now. We're starting to get this thing right. But yeah, thanks for joining us. You're joining us on the Facebook live streams. You're joining us on YouTube or Twitter or Instagram or wherever you find the audio on the podcast. We always appreciate the support. And we're open up with The Scots by Travis Scott and Kid Cudi, which is reportedly Billy McKinney's walk-up music. Reportedly. I'll have to give it a little extra listen on tomorrow night. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, thanks for joining us. And with me, as always, is Lisa. Lisa, what's up?
Hey, everybody. As Ed said, happy Juneteenth today to everybody. I'm very happy that it's being recognized nationally now, as it should be. It's a very important holiday. Please educate yourself if you don't know what it's about. But shout out to my folks who celebrate. I'm certainly celebrating with you. And happy day after Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Yesterday in my family was a great day. We went to my parents' house and barbecued. Everybody, including Punchy the boxer, showed up at my parents' house. He was, sadly, Punchy wasn't feeling well, but he still showed up as his full, big old, goofy self. Folks, I'm going to keep it real. Ed and I are not in good headspaces today after these two series that we have to talk about. It's going to be very difficult, but as I always say, we are professionals, so we will talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and this was an ugly. The Yankees won 4. I'm sorry, they did not win 4. They lost 1. They lost 4 and won 1 in these two series, and sadly, they were against two of the biggest teams that we always want to win against, the Mets and the Red Sox. So this one's going to be tough. We're going to get through it.
At least I would have taken 4 wins out of these.
I know. I wish. I wish my Freudian slip was true.
Oh man, yeah, it was a rough week, but hey, we don't shy from it. We'll talk about it. We'll have some fun talking about it because we do get to talk Yankees baseball regardless. So we're excited about that. One thing I did want to mention, though, like briefly, that's not Yankees related, but it is baseball related, was, Lisa, did you by any chance catch Rob Manfred's comments regarding the Oakland A's fans doing a protest? I think it was earlier in the week. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday night. I believe it was during the Subway Series.
I did not. Are they protesting because they're moving to Vegas?
Yeah. I mean, so pretty much the gist of it is, one of those 2 games, the fans decided, hey, we're going to go ahead and we're going to all try to like pack the house as much as we can. And they got a crowd of
that
like,
a long time ago.
but that's what I wanted to talk about, because Rob Manfred had some comments that were kind of like that, essentially. So they had and remember, when I say pack the house, I'm talking about like 27,000 fans, which would be an embarrassing crowd for the Yankees. Like,
yes,
but again, that's a high thing. Yankees are usually they're always in the top 3 to 5.
Yeah, they sell out more times than they don't in a season.
So it's just what it is. So they
what
did
he
that.
Say?
Well, I'm just saying. So for the fans, what they did was they took like a silent protest where they went ahead and they all stood up at one point and they didn't cheer for anything and they kind of were just there.
Uh-huh.
Seems kind of bizarre and a little too late at this point. And they want the team to be sold. Like, their whole thing is they want ownership to change. They think this is all the ownership's deal and what's going on there. And Rob Manfred got wind of this, and they asked him about it. And his response was that he was at a owner's dinner at the time with them. And he just kind of pretty much said what you said. It was like, it's cool. It was one night. You sort of packed the house. And that was that. Now, I think more of my whole thing is this. One, from the fan base, was that really like a thing to be noted? Like, is that a good protest? Or is it kind of just like, hey, you guys had your chance and you're leaving? The team is leaving because you guys didn't show up to begin with. Like it was too little, too late. But then the fans, on the other hand, their thing is, well, if you gave us something to watch, we'd show up. You guys don't spend money ever. Chicken or the egg thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a complicated thing. And then, well, hold on. And then the third part to this, and I know I'm throwing a lot at you. Should the commissioner of Major League Baseball be reacting like that? Or should he show a little bit more sympathy towards it?
So I'm going to answer that one first. No, he shouldn't.
Okay. I agree.
As the person with the most power in the situation, you just have to shut up and listen. Yep. So I don't think he didn't need to comment. His actions were going to show how he felt regardless, so he didn't need to speak, at all. When it comes to the fans and the protest, I mean, protests tend to be the most meaningful when they're happening in real time, right? So not, several years later. I'm thinking about the stretch of time, in the 80s and early 90s where the Yankees weren't that great. And yet I know that they had some pretty
1990 was the leanest year of my entire lifetime.
But they've always had at least one or two really dynamic players on the team to kind of help out with that, right? So regardless of how they're doing, they have some players that you want to watch.
Yeah.
But with that being said, Yankee Stadium, I don't think in my lifetime has ever had a crowd, that big a crowd. In Yankee Stadium is like what you said. It's not a big crowd. I think 25,000 people are already there by like 6:30 p.m.
Yeah, like, and again, that's a tough thing
on a weeknight during the school year.
And again, the Yankees have like the leanest crowds you'll see at Yankee Stadium are usually like half game one of a doubleheader that got moved in because that's expected. Like,
right, because it wasn't planned.
No, it wasn't planned, and not everyone can take off from work and rearrange their schedule and their lives and stuff like that. I would like to most of the time. Like, I get excited when there's a doubleheader. So I'm like, cool, free baseball, and it is what it is. And those weird crowds are it's kind of fun. It's weird. It's very strange. And then COVID happened, and then that was the max crowd, and that made it strange on another way. But with the A's, I mean, my take is, I understand the fans being upset. Thankfully, none of my teams have ever relocated. I know George used to threaten in the early 90s, late 80s about moving the team to New Jersey, and I'll never forget, I'm sure I've said this on here at some point, I remember I was watching Channel 11 after one of the Yankee games, and they were talking about that, and like the graphic was an NJ, an interlocking NJ, and I like lost my shit. I remember like as a kid, I was upset. I told my father like what would we do and stuff like that, and he was just like, that ain't happening. He's just talking shit, and that was pretty much it, which he was right. So I don't know. If one of my teams relocated, I mean, I would be pissed. I don't know if I would switch to another team or you just stick with it. I don't know. It's a weird spot. But with the A's, I understand the fans' perspective too, is that you haven't given us shit to see. Every time one of our players gets good, you don't pay them, and you have to trade them for a package of young players again, and they're a small market team. And that's how it keeps on going, and the cycle just keeps on churning. And they're usually more competitive than like their payroll says they would, but that's Billy Bean pulling like magic out of a hat, and making it work. So it's tough. I can see both sides, but then on the owners, you're like, well, we can't pay players if no one's showing up to the ballpark. So what the hell do you do?
Yeah,
tough spot. But I do think Manfred shouldn't have been reacting like that. He needs to.
No.
Yeah, he needs to be more sympathetic than that.
He does. I mean, he has to understand that they're protesting this because they're about to experience the loss, right? And whether they showed up or not, you could still be a fan and not go to the stadium, of course. That doesn't help your team as much, but they're experiencing a loss, and they know that it's sadly inevitable that they're moving. All the other Oakland teams moved, so I don't know. Like I get it. I just think it would have been more effective a few years ago.
Yeah, I agree. They're already like getting approvals for stadiums in Vegas and whatnot, and you can see where this is going. It's going to happen. They're not going to stop it at this point.
Yeah.
So. And I've even said during my whole ballpark thing, I don't want to go to Oakland right now because it's like you hear the stadium's a dump, and it kind of sucks. So I'm personally waiting for them to move to Vegas and then go see a brand new stadium.
Yeah.
So.
And more energy and liveliness there.
Yeah.
At that.
Yeah, and I'm sure the ownership will spend money in their first couple of years in Vegas because they also know they need to put asses in the seats, so they're going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, tough spot. All right, so let's get to the week that was in Yankees baseball, as painful or not as it may be, but we do get to start off with the win of the week. That was the Yankees going ahead and opening up round one of the Subway Series, which was at Citi Field this year. To start off with, Yanks did go ahead. This was one of the most exciting games of the season, honestly. And personally, yeah, I was at both of the Subway Series games, and the energy was great. And I know there was a lot of talk going into it. There wasn't as much juice around this. And I feel like every year with the Subway Series, this is the talk on like local sports talk radio. It's like, oh, the Subway Series has lost its luster and yada, yada, yada. It's like, nah, the games are going to be sold out, and the fans are going to care, and they're going to bring the energy one way or the other. So, even though both teams are kind of scuffling going into this. But they did. The Yanks were down 5-1, early on. And Max Scherzer on the mound, you're kind of like, hey, are they going to come back? And they did. They went ahead and came back from down 5-1. Luis Severino took a no decision. He had nothing on the night. I'll get back to him in a second. He only lasted 4 2/3, 7 hits, 6 runs, 5 were earned. 3 walks and 4 Ks. Ron Marinaccio came in and got the win, but wasn't really effective either. Michael King was effective. He picked up his 4th save of the season. Giancarlo Stanton hit his 6th homer of the season. He kind of got things kicked off in the first inning off of Max Scherzer. DJ LeMahieu hit his 7th home run of the season. He was 1 for 4 on the night with 2 RBIs and a run scored. Jake Bauers, who had himself a pretty good week. Not many Yankee hitters did. He was 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. Anthony Volpe was 2 for 4 with an RBI, 2 doubles. One of them probably an error on Brandon Nimmo. I'm not sure if I would have called that a double, but cool that Volpe was hustling out of the box. And Josh Donaldson actually got a pretty big sacrifice fly RBI which turned out to be the game winner. He didn't start the game. He just came in and pinch hit. So the thing of note I wanted to bring in here, great to see it. I'm going to nitpick a little bit. But Lisa, something we've talked about for weeks. So Aaron Boone may or may not be known as Captain Hook around these parts, but we have killed him for weeks for having the itchy trigger finger to pull starters out of games too early. Severino gives up 5 runs at this point, and he leaves him in the game to go ahead and I'm guessing to get stretched out further. But that shouldn't be the priority when we're trying to win games at any point right now with the team scuffling. And they just came back from down 5-1. Granted, the first inning he left him in, 1-2-3 inning, looked good, but then he leaves him in for another inning. And the Mets go ahead and tie the game at that point at 6. Like, what are we doing here? This makes no sense.
No, I jokingly told you right before we started that he must have heard our podcast the last couple of weeks and was like, "Oh, I guess I gotta let him play." That's not what we meant, Aaron Boone. We meant let him play when he's continuing to do well.
Yeah.
Take him out when he's not. Don't do the reverse of those two things. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't understand why he does half the things he does these days. It's really hard. It's really hard.
I've been very lukewarm at best on Aaron Boone since he's taken over as a manager. Like I can't argue.
He's lukewarm.
He's lukewarm, but I can't. It's hard for me to argue at times when I look at their granted it's regular season record every year, and they're winning close to over 90 games, so 100 games at times, and there is that. And I think his value is probably in he's got his players back to a fault. And I've stated that numerous times on here where he has it too much, where you just sound like an idiot. Like,
keywords are to a fault. Absolutely.
Yeah, to a fault. But that's it. Like his in-game strategies, like they're highly questionable at times. And I'm going to get to some of the moves in the next game, which even analytics-wise and common sense baseball don't make any damn sense. And
so before you get to that, I just want to read the one good fact I have about the Yankees this week. When Giancarlo Stanton hit his solo home run in the top of the first, that gave him 37 home runs versus the Mets, which is his most versus any team. And he has 24 home runs at Citi Field, which is the most by any Mets opponent. So Michael Kay had just finished talking about how Giancarlo Stanton had the most home runs at Citi Field, and then he went ahead and hit another home run at Citi Field. I wish he did that. Yeah, well, I mean, I wish he loved hitting everywhere again. And that pains me to say because y'all know how I feel about him.
No, we're both Stanton supporters, but like, yeah, you got to call it how it is.
Absolutely.
He needs to get going already. All right, so that brings us to Game 2 of the Subway Series, which was last Wednesday. Mets went ahead and walked this one off in extra innings by a final 4-3. The exciting thing going into this, besides the fact that being Subway Series, was the pitching matchup with Justin Verlander and our old friend over the years, who's been a real pain in the ass for the Yankees, versus Garrett Cole. And the pitching match, that lived up to it. I mean, Cole looked good. Yeah, he took a no decision, unfortunately. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, and 8 Ks. So Garrett Cole, with his best start in a little while now, because he has not been bringing his A game consistently. So that was nice. Jake Bauers, though, 1 for 5 with an RBI. IKF 0 for 3, but had a run scored. Had a run scored. 2 stolen bases. That gave him 8 on the season, one of them being a steal of home, the Brooks Riley, who that was pretty nuts. I was actually trying to think back to when was the last time I actually witnessed a steal of home, like in person live. And I couldn't remember. I still don't. Like, I've seen them on TV.
They put well, you're talking about live. That's like super specific. They put a graphic up during the game about it was their the quiz that they do. And I meant to take a picture of it to talk about it here. But they put up I think it was 5 or 6 Yankees that have stolen home. I think it was 5. Him being the last one. Do you know who one of them was?
Melky?
No, this is going back. I think it was from the 80s on. One of them is probably very, very surprising to you because Michael Kay even commented about him.
I feel like this is was Claudel Washington one of them? Like I feel
he
like
was. He was. Yep.
Wow, that's a name that I don't try to remember. Yeah, that's in the dark Yankee years of my childhood because there were some. You said no to Melky, right? I
don't remember, so I don't remember them all. But there's one in particular that even when I saw it, I was like, "Whoa, that's really impressive." Only because of his size. So there's a hint.
Big Yankees. I mean, they've had a lot. Bernie Williams.
Bernie's tall like that?
Bernie's kind of big, but I don't want to go crazy and say like Jason Giambi or like Mark Teixeira.
No. So I'm not talking about like I'm more. Well, he was both. Anyway, I'll just tell you who it was. Dave Winfield.
Wow. Well, yes and no, because Dave Winfield, man, like I think people forget at times, like he was a crazy athlete, like in general.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, as a kid, I just remember images of him like reaching into the stands, and it felt like it was almost every other night, robbing home runs, and obviously that's not realistic, but. No, he was also drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, and I feel like he was also drafted by an NBA team as well. And he barely played like any college like ball for either one of those. Like he was mainly a baseball player, but that just shows kind of the freak athlete that he was.
Yeah. So he apparently stole home because Michael Kay was like, "Could you imagine him barreling down from third? You're safe."
Oh yeah, no, because there was no Buster Posey rule back then, so you can just
Mhm.
level the catcher. So shit, I wouldn't want to be the catcher with Dave Winfield coming
Yeah.
in. Uh, wow. So also Billy McKinney, who's been impressing, 2 for 4 with a double, his third of the season. More questionable moves by Baron Boone in this game. Late in the game, he goes to where Brandon Nimmo was coming up, and he doesn't have Wandy Peralta or Ramirez ready to go, and there were 2 outs in the inning as well. Like, I get Wandy pitched the night before and didn't pitch well because he looked like shit on Tuesday night, and he basically came in and loaded up the bases late, and they had to go ahead and bail him out. But just kind of seemed like that was the obvious move, was to go ahead and bring in a lefty versus Nimmo. They don't, and shit goes awry. But he later goes to Ramirez in the 10th inning with the Manfred man on second base. So, as we like to say, it's not what you want.
It's not what you want.
It's not what you want. And also, though, in the 10th inning, we got the Manfred man in a tie game. Higgy's on second base. Volpe's up, not hitting well. His struggles have been very well documented.
Oh, boy.
And he can't lay down a bunt to move the runner over. It's mind-numbing. It's absolutely mind-numbing at times.
So I'm asking this again because it's mid-June now. At what point do we have to consider if he needs a little break?
Volpe?
Yeah.
I stated July. I said July was.
You did. I know. But I'm thinking like it has to be taken more and more seriously. So, not by you. Not by
no,
you.
No, not at all. I wish. Trust me. I absolutely wish it was my decision. That's tough. I think you have to give him the next couple of weeks. I mean, there's only 2 more weeks left anyway. So, and then you see where he's at, and then you might have to reassess. It also depends on what is the next move. It can't be IKF. Not going back to him at shortstop. We've seen how that goes. He's also done much better in a utility bench role, which we keep stating should be his role. He's playing a lot these days. Yeah. No, and he's flourished under it. I actually think IKF has been much better this season. I don't care what his numbers say at the moment. He has looked way, way better as a utility guy. But a utility guy also shouldn't be playing every day because he's the utility guy for a reason. When he has to play every day, then the shit starts to show why he's a utility guy. So you got to use him sparingly. Volpe, I would give him the next 2 weeks. And again, if Peraza is doing well at AAA and he's ready to go, then great. Then I got to consider that as an option. But if you don't have an option to go to, then that's a problem.
I think with Bader coming back, I think they said he's coming back this next series.
You said tomorrow.
That's what I meant. This next series coming up. I feel like they could at least give him a day off here and there and have IKF play shortstop once or twice until they could figure out something more, and maybe that'll spur him on because I don't know what's going on. But you know what? I'm also talking about this to delay talking about the next game we have to cover because that was probably the worst. So let's just rip that Band-Aid off.
Okay. Let's get to it. So the Yankees had an off day that was there.
That's a great description of the off day they had the day after.
Oh my God. I think our guest is in the darkness with Aaron Rodgers right now.
Uh-oh.
It's very strange. We'll get back to that in a minute. I don't know. He went on a darkness retreat. So the Yankees had an off day on Thursday, and then they opened up their series in Boston. And it's not what you want doesn't quite do this justice.
It sucks.
Yeah, they got their asses handed to them. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. 15-5. Domingo Germán had absolutely nothing. He took the loss, pushing his record to 4-4. Only lasted 2 innings, 7 hits, 7 earned runs, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Anthony Rizzo, 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs, but that was later on with a run scored. Josh Donaldson, again, this was kind of like as Marv Albert used to say, garbage time. Was 2 for 4 with a 6th home run of the season, and Billy McKinney was 1 for 4 with an RBI on the night. This was ugly, and it was ugly fast. I mean, the Yankees' defense which isn't going to show up in a box score. Should have been charged with probably like 5 errors, and they weren't because even Michael Kay was going off in the official scoring in Boston, how like nobody gets an error. Basically. Yeah, so this is when the box score doesn't really tell you the true story. This game was ugly. It was ugly from a pitching standpoint. It was ugly from an offensive standpoint. Those 5 runs, again, that was sugarcoating later on in the game. And the defense was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
Okay. We're still Jerry's having some technical difficulties over there. That takes us to the rainout on Saturday, which was postponed, and a Father's Day doubleheader. Yankees-Red Sox sounded like it probably should have been an exciting thing to happen, but not so much. The first half of the doubleheader, the 135 game, Yanks dropped 6-2. They did lead 2-0 at one point, and then the wheels came off because the Red Sox started basically playing wall ball off the Green Monster. Clark Schmidt had a no decision, 4 2/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, and 3 Ks. So not exactly like lights out, but from a back end of the rotation starter, it's something that's a start I would take. Yanks got to score more than 2 runs. Michael King took the loss. He was not good. That got his record to 1-3 on the season. 1 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, a walk. And Gleyber Torres 1-for-4 with his 12th home run of the season, 2 RBIs. Jake Bauers 2-for-4 with 2 doubles. That gives him 9 on the season, and a run scored there. And the nightcap, which was Sunday Night Baseball, and the highlight being, I thought ESPN did a pretty cool job with bringing in Michael King's father into the booth to chat and surprise him. That was cool. And then Eduardo Perez's father, I thought that was pretty cool. So that kind of stuff, I thought that was nice, a nice touch by them. It was also distracting us from the Yankees offense just completely being missing. They dropped the final 4-1. The Red Sox completing the sweep there. Luis Severino, not terrible, but not great either. He got his second loss of the season. 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, and 6 Ks. Gleyber Torres was 2-for-4 with 2 doubles, giving him 10 on the season. Jake Bauers was 1-for-3 with a run scored and a stolen base. Yankees offense with runners in scoring position 0-for-11. So it's not like they didn't have their chances. They did, and mustered up next to nothing.
I mean, that's pretty much the moral of this story, folks, is that when your captain goes out on injury, that doesn't mean that the rest of the team should just stop playing. No. And this is what's happened, is that the offense has been non-existent since Aaron Judge hurt his foot in that game, his toe. So I cannot wait for us to have an actual timeline of when he's coming back rather than he responded well to the second treatment on his toe. No, I need more than that. I need Harrison Bader back. I think his energy is always helpful. Mm-hmm. I need Giancarlo Stanton to hit. I need Anthony Rizzo to hit. I need Josh Donaldson to hit. This was bad, and Billy McKinney on his 3rd life in MLB or whatever life it is like he's showing up the way he has to.
Yeah, he's playing his ass off. He's been really impressive to me.
But we need more than him. We really do. And I I'm sure Aaron Judge is like pulling his hair out, going crazy, just waiting so that he can get back in. But you shouldn't have to feel like you're the one carrying the team all the time. A team signifies more than one person. So
no, and it's Rizzo had an interesting quote basically after the second game last night. It was, I'm going to paraphrase here. He said something like, "Hey, the other 29 teams don't have Aaron Judge either, so there's no excuse."
Great point.
And yeah, and I get that the roster construction was built around Aaron Judge being a main player in this, but it's not an excuse. And Boone is getting tired of answering these questions every day, which, and his post games are to be, they lack some stuff and to be desired. There's a lot of throat clearing and hum stuff that go on, but I think our guest has
arrived.
I think he has arrived. He has his It looks like he's got his video, and he's got his fantasy football championship belt with him. This should be an interesting chat here. But let's bring him in. He has filled in at times when Lisa or Tim over the years have not been able to. Big friend of the show.
Face.
Right. Jerry, what's up, man?
Hey!
Hi.
Is he here?
Hi.
Wow. What's up, man?
I'm not doing so good today.
No,
I know you look very. It's the room around you looks like what you're emanating right now.
Yeah, actually, it does. It kind of matches, to be honest with you.
I'm in a dark room. I'm in a dark place with the Yankees. That's the way I feel.
Is it Is it like the Aaron Rodgers darkness retreat?
I don't know about the darkness retreat. I have no idea what that's about,
okay.
but I could feel and think that there's something similar because if I didn't work and have the two boys and a wife, I might go on a darkness retreat with these Yankees. Like camping, no Wi-Fi, no nothing. So I don't have to be a part of it. That's how bad I thought this series was. I really thought in our group text with Eddie and some other men that we were going to do what we needed to do this weekend. We were going to find a way, beat Boston, and be on our way to Seattle, and then Texas, and a few other teams that could be a challenge. And then it gets a little soft after that in July, and we're on our way. We'll knock it down to maybe 7. Judge comes back. We can win a division, get through this fairy tale of Tampa Bay dominating the world, and we're good. And we got swept, and it was awful.
Yeah, it was ugly, dude.
It was awful. And I'll ask a question to you all. Do you feel, honestly, that this weekend was a turning point, that it might not happen, that the division might be lost, and we're going to have to go through these awful hurdles of the 3 division winners, the 3 wild card teams, and then we're rolling the dice with using up top 2 starters and guys getting hurt by running or jogging or throwing in those games and high intensity pressure games? Is that what we're looking at here? Because right now I'm feeling in June that's where we're going. So I'll leave it to you both.
I think right now, the Yanks offense is non-existent. Defense has been suspect. Specifically, we mentioned on Friday night, it was downright embarrassing how bad it was. Don't care what the box score says. They weren't charged with a lot of errors. That should have been errors, and it was bad. Like, that's as bad as you can get. I think this weekend is rock bottom. I think this is pretty much the worst it's been all season. The team has looked lifeless, and I know when teams don't hit, they can appear extremely lifeless. I'm not claiming that. I can't say for sure. We're not in there to say whether or not the effort isn't there, but this needs to be a wake-up call and like a slap in the face to every single team, every player on that team, and be like, listen, you got to wake up. Like, the guys who are being paid to do so need to step up. Like, this is it. Like,
Ed,
starting tomorrow night.
What's your opinion? I've given you a lot of credit and respect.
Yeah,
you know that I think my IQ is very high when it comes to baseball.
Yeah.
You know this. I will say that you're there. Do you think we're going wild card or bust?
Well,
That's the question.
Well, Jerry, I'm getting to that.
Are you there?
I'm getting to that. No, I'm not. It's not wild card or bust. The division it's a long shot. I'm not going to act like it isn't. But do I think when the Yankees get healthy and start getting their dudes back, and if we don't know when in the hell Judge is coming back, if he's back sooner than later, I can see them going on a run and closing this down. I also still have a hard time believing Tampa Bay's this good. I'm sorry. I'm still not buying it.
What do you think, Lisa?
But having said that, if they have to go the wild card route, then that's what you got to do. Less than that, it's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Less than that's unacceptable, but what's realistic? So, first of all, Jerry, happy Father's Day.
Yes, happy Father's Day.
Yes, and it was a great Father's Day until the Yankees got swept by Boston and fell 10.5 back.
It ruined your Father's Day.
It didn't ruin it.
Okay.
You know what? But I will say this: there were thoughts in my mind there at a little lunch. It was a lunch. It was a true lunch, not a brunch.
Not a brunch.
It was a lunch because we know
it was a lunch, and I thought to myself, looking at the kids, I said, I have a 3.5-year-old, a newborn, and okay, are my kids going to enjoy championship runs? Because it's a valid question. If we don't win the World Series this year, we're going on 23 years with one World Series. One.
Mhm.
No other generation of children growing up in the history of the United States of America has had to go through that. None of them.
Really?
None of them since
You didn't say
1923.
Yankees in there, so that's all of the
So
teams.
since you know what I mean. Since 1923, and the great Bambino showed up and hit a home run on opening day, we were off to the races. And there were a few dry spells here and there, but this is unprecedented. And I looked at them and thought, what will the Yankees mean to them after the sweep? This is how big I think this sweep was. Seriously, I really could not imagine getting destroyed by the Red Sox, a last place team right now, giving us the AL East, the best division in the league, but still to get swept and outscored like that and to look like that, it was embarrassing. I mean, it wasn't like we're going against Pedro Martinez and Chris Sale in their prime. I mean, that's how they hit. So I'm sorry, Lisa. What are your thoughts? What's realistic? What do you think? Do you think this weekend had that much weight, or am I being too dramatic?
I actually don't think you're being too dramatic. I wish I could be, optimistic like Ed in this situation, and I know he's being realistically optimistic. I think it's going to be really tough for us. I just finished saying right before you came on that we cannot rely on one guy to be the charge for everybody else. So when Aaron Judge is in, everybody else is on. We can't do that. That's not what a team mentality is. I don't see, not that I see them not being, like, they're not all trying to get individual stats in. I don't feel that. I just feel like they are not connected right now. And if he's the only glue that keeps them connected, that's a big problem. Ed and I have talked about this over a number of shows. I don't like some of the calls that Aaron Boone is making, particularly with the pitchers. I think he's leaving some people in way too long to flounder and taking people out when he doesn't really need to take them out yet. I think that's a problem as well. I'm not sure about this year. And what I am optimistic about, though, is that we will get more championships in the near future. I just don't think that time is this year. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm happily wrong in this situation. But I think it's going to be a really big struggle this year. And at the end of the day, we don't just have to get, by Tampa Bay. We have to beat several other teams as well after that, if we can even get past them. So,
I'm going to go ahead. I'll throw some numbers out here based on what it is. So the Yankees right now are 10.5 games back of Tampa. They're in third place in the AL East. Okay, not great. They are tied for the third wild card spot at the moment with Houston at 39 and 33, 6 games above 500. So it's not where you want to be at the moment, but as we've seen in the past, you get into playoffs and then you roll the dice if you have to. Obviously, you prefer to be the top seed or the top 2 seeds to get that first round bye, but that's that. I'm also looking at it as we have over 3 months left of baseball to go.
Sure.
But having said that, you have the games to do it, and this was supposed to be part of the soft part of the schedule. They dropped 2 of 3 to the White Sox. You dropped 2 of 3 to the last place Red Sox, who we both know, and if we're being honest, the Mets and the Red Sox are always going to play us tough, regardless of what the standings say, because there is more to it. Doesn't matter. Not an excuse. It's just a fact. So you dropped 2 of 3 at home to the Red Sox, games that were very easily winnable. You split the 2-game series with the Mets, whatever. That's also another winnable game that you let get away the second game. But if you want to be fair, you stole the first game when you were down 5-1 to Scherzer. So you could look at it either way you want. But the weekend sweep in Boston I think it's rock bottom. This is as bad as they've looked all season long. And they've looked bad at certain stretches. They have. We haven't run from it. We haven't sugarcoated it. We're calling it what it is. So the same thing we said last week. The guys who are getting paid to do so that are not Aaron Judge. Listen, he got a freak accident. He got hurt. That's what it is. But this team shouldn't be, Judge is gone and then we're done. Jerry, I told you what did we talk about in the offseason? And I'm pretty sure I said it on last year. There's no way that they were letting Judge walk because without Aaron Judge, this is 1990-91 Yankees all over again. And right now, looks pretty spot on. Granted, the pitching is most nights they're pitching their asses off. The offense shouldn't be this putrid, and the defense shouldn't look like this on a regular basis just because one guy is gone. That's insane. Guys like Stanton, Donaldson, who I have clearly stated I can't stand, but he's playing for a contract, so you should. There's the extra motivation if you need it. You know, Rizzo has cooled down dramatically. He needs to get going again. DJ LeMahieu batting in the 230s. That's not him, and striking out at a career high rate. Labor Torres, offensively, has been not bad for a second baseman, but
he's the best player on the team.
Which
not
is
defensively.
Except for Judge right now, he's the best player on the team.
Which
not defensively, but
he's
not
defensively because defensively he has a lot to be desired.
Fine, but as a second baseman with his stats, if he gets hot this week, he's one of the premier second basemen.
No, Jerry, I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I think it is what it is, but you watch him all three of us watch him on a daily basis. He's maddening to watch because you see the talent is there, but he has these brain farts that make you wonder, like, what the hell is going on? Regularly.
But that's like getting mad at a kid that, like,
one of them happened.
This is wrong. No, this is wrong.
One of them happened Tuesday night.
How about not a kid?
How about like Tuesday night?
Like a physicist that's doing quantum mechanics and is like smacking around a student that just can't get it. That's kind of like how maybe he's just not at a pro level. Like, it's not an insult. Like I just said, quantum mechanics. I don't want, because we know that Gleyber Torres probably watches the show, and we don't want to insult him. We want to make sure that the Donaldsons. I know you're very strong, and you go to a lot of games. So I don't want to be in a fight when I go tomorrow with you to the game.
Before the game.
No, I don't want to be in a fight before the game. You go to a lot of games.
We can go to Woody Crest.
You know a lot of people at the stadium. You know a lot of people at the stadium. So I don't want to bump into somebody, and then Donaldson's like, "Yo, that's the guy," and he's a little scrappy. You know, he's known to be a little of a hothead. So like you say a lot of strong things. I'm trying to be empathetic here. Wow. Maybe like I said, quantum mechanics student. I'm not trying to say that Gleyber Torres rides a bus or anything like that with a helmet. There's nothing like that whatsoever. I'm not insulting him. I'm not making fun of him. Everybody has their gifts. Everybody has their opportunity to make an impact on the world. He just might be at a pro quantum mechanics level mentally. And I don't know if you kick a guy when he's down, when he can't handle the hard equations that he needs to do to win a Nobel Peace Prize or a scientific prize or math prize.
So if Gleyber Torres is in your scenario a quantum mechanics student, is Anthony Volpe an intern?
Yeah, I think Anthony Volpe will pass the class. I think he's very good at defense. Eventually will get better and better. I think he's been trained by the wrong professors on the way his swing is. And that if he was taught in like 1994 with like Mattingly and O'Neill and all that, he would definitely hit a lot more line drives, a lot more down and hard, a lot more production from an offensive standpoint. The homers would be there because he has obviously the power. You've seen some of the shots he's hit. Yeah. It's like very impressive. So like those line drives turn into home runs. He'd probably be a way better average non-base hitter. His on base is awful. It's scary. It's like, come on, like you're a pro. So yes, I guess he's like an intern with all the talent to pass the quantum mechanics class, but everybody kind of knows, wink, wink, like he's gonna be like the understudy to like, Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind. Like it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're sorry. So we're on the same page as Volpe. We still think that they should give him time, but do you think, because before we came on, Lisa did ask the question, when would you draw the line on maybe he might need to get sent back down? I'm saying July. That if this is still continuing, and we're not far from it now, if Peraza is doing well, if you have another option, not IKF back at shortstop every day is not the solution. I would rather leave Volpe there, continue to let him figure it out. But if Peraza's tearing up AAA, looks good defensively, would you potentially make a move in July? Maybe Volpe needs to reset a little bit and get a little bit more seasoning at AAA, or do you stick with him no matter what?
So this is a question that goes back to what we were not discussing, but we were typing about, Lisa, was the parallels between what's going on with young athletes. And Lisa's, you've been a part of some really great teams you told me about growing up in softball, and obviously Eddie and I won a few championships, a few great programs that I played for as well. And then obviously watching the Yankees, and, we get filtered in some championship character / culture. So I think in reality, and back in the day, you would just tell the young kid, you got to shorten up your swing. You got to make the adjustment. You got to flex to what's in front of you and do it. And I think realistically, with the way things are in 2023, you might have to send them down in July, because you can't trust that pro players can make the adjustment anymore. That pro players cannot just, and I'm not talking about Judge and his toe, because it might be a serious thing, it might not be, but we do know the stories from championship teams of like guys being very hurt, not being able to comb their hair because of their shoulder, finding a way. That becomes an example for the young players to step up. Hey, our guy who's been on the team for 10 years, literally, they're not combing their hair anymore because it hurts that bad, their shoulder, but they're playing. They're going 1 for 4 with a huge hit and a double, and they're hobbling into second, and nobody really knows about it, but they're doing it. Like, that's gone, maybe. That's gone. That's gone of just taping it up and doing it and figuring it out. And, like, I might not be able to hit the moonshot, but I'm making solid contact. I'm hitting balls opposite field in the hole. I'm hitting line drives. I'm making at least decent contact. And when I'm getting on base, I'm stealing and I'm helping the team. I'm finding a way. That's what's really frustrating right now, is that we're kind of raising these guys to like, no, don't do this. Don't do that. You're worth $473 million. You can't. And yet, let's just say it's not Judge in his early 30s. It's another guy in his 20s. You're teaching a young man to just be a spectator because you're worth X amount of dollars.
Well, I also...
But so you're teaching them not to be able to make adjustments because you are an investment. Where I feel like it's more important to be great for the team, your family that you travel with throughout the entire baseball season, on a small scale in a high school team, when like you're tired, you got finals, you don't really want to go to that game, it's raining, it's in March or whatever, and you go and you end up going 2 for 4 with a big hit, and it's like, it was worth it. I didn't let the team down. We're going away from that now. We're going away from doing what's best for not only yourself and the team and an example to others, and finding a way to, you're an investment. Just sit down and let us take care of you, because you can't take care of yourself. And it's awful. And I think it's real. I could be wrong and be very dramatic about this, but I think it's real, and I see it in front of my eyes. So we might have to send them down because we can't trust that the culture is there for him to make the adjustments that are necessary to stay up in the major leagues, because he hasn't been taught that throughout being a pro in the farm system. Well,
but I think the question that I have for you, though, is regarding Volpe, and we're talking about Volpe here. Yep. He made a swing adjustment last week. Like, it was right before, apparently, on the off day, he had a
That's
dinner
what great
with
pros do.
Austin
They make
Wells.
Adjustments. Yeah.
Well, no, they had a discussion. They checked out some video of him in the minors. He looks like he adjusted his batting stance back to it. And he's had some, you saw a little bit, he was having some better at-bats and stuff like that. But I think you still need to give that more time to go. But the question is, with the state of the team, can they afford to continue letting him do this? Or is it like, hey, listen, we would love to leave you up here to continue making adjustments, but we kind of need, like, the season needs to get turned around right now. We might have to give someone else another shot. You go back to AAA, work it out, earn your way back up again. Like, you mentioned combing the hair and stuff like that. Obviously, that was probably references to Mickey Mantle, who was also sent down. And I'm not saying that Volpe's Mickey Mantle, because he's already been given the Jeter crap enough. No, but I'm saying the comparisons for the not even 1 year in the league is a bit extreme. So, how
I believe in competitive. No,
I understand that.
Friendly competition. I believe in that big time. So give him to the All-Star break. We got another guy waiting, and you give him a chance, and you tell that kid,
so it's less
listen,
than a month.
I know the culture could be a little soft, but we're going to give you a glimpse into what it really is in life. And
no, but I'm saying, Jerry, though, at
and
some
Peraza,
point,
smoke him.
But my point is, if Peraza's tearing
Take
up AAA and Volpe's struggling up here,
Yeah.
at some point,
Yeah.
which is better for the team? Letting Volpe continue to struggle up here and holding Peraza down? Or do you bring Peraza up and say, Volpe, you got to go down?
What's
and
better for the team is have them both fight for the position.
So have them alternate days at starting shortstop or something?
No.
Whoever's proving it is the one that comes is the one that stays up.
You sit Volpe in a room and say, hey, listen, we know it's not easy to change up your swing and this and that. You got to get on base. You're fast. If you don't get on base, Peraza's waiting in the wings. Make it happen. And then you just leave the room. And then you go to Peraza and say, keep smoking, keep going off here in AAA because that shortstop position for the New York Yankees is ready for you to take. Do you want it?
Yes.
Get it? Got it? Good. Go get it. And then you leave the room. Done. And then let's see what happens.
Because I think in a perfect world, both of them would end up being starters for the Yankees for a long time because third base, Donaldson's on the last year of his contract. They're not retaining him. That's pretty obvious. That's not happening. So that would be opens up a spot there. And Gleyber Torres, his contract is just about up. So he's another one they're going to have to make a decision on at some point. And
I like Gleyber. I don't care that he can't do quantum mechanics.
For what he might be asking for, I'm not paying him $150, $200 million for what he's giving us.
Nobody else is either. No one else is either. No,
really?
They're not giving him 200. He's not making $200 million. No.
He will get over $100 million somewhere.
Yeah, with a big contract, sure. But that's...
Yeah, he will.
I get it.
If I'm the Yankees, I'm not paying that. I'm not paying him.
So what do you think of... Now, the fans of... I am... Lisa and Ed, I'm surprised by the attendance. It's good. It's really good. It's not great. It should. I think it still should be top 3. It's still the New York Yankees. And my belief is we should dominate everything and have a seat at the head of the table no matter what. So I think the fans could... I would like to share with this show, this platform. I think, Ed, you have a lot of influence. You should definitely put this out to the world. I think the team the fans. Let's not talk about the Yankee universe anymore. There's no universe anymore. Just get down and dirty in the Bronx and start chants like we did with George Steinbrenner, with George Munchko, and what happened? George went. I think it's time to
George got suspended. That was not due to the fans.
The fans put pressure. The fans.
You think they made Major League Baseball suspend him for trying to get something on Dave
Major
Winfield?
League Baseball were like, wow, this is the fans are speaking. They're not the reason why, but it's part of the formula. Maybe it's 1% on the formula. I think we should represent 1%. I think there should start being chants similar to George Must Go, to
There's
Stanton
been
Must
Fire
Go.
Boone chants for years, 3 seasons.
No,
now.
it should be consistent. It's not.
It happens a lot. I'm just trying to tell you.
It happens a lot. But this is my point. If it's happening, you need to build that fire. You need to add more.
I'm not chanting. I'm not a part of the
You need to add more fire to that flame.
Never have been.
The people have to speak. They must be spoken. This has gotten out of hand.
Well, what should they be saying?
We're going on 23 years with one World Series championships.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that the fans should be taking matters in their own hands, and they should be chanting what they want. What we all know is Yankee baseball, and that's winning championships and not having this ridiculous culture of softness, of bad decisions, of taking pitchers out in the 5th inning when they're pitching just fine, with guys not being able to handle playing in New York. The fans need to kick them out. And we know who the people should be kicked out.
They booed Hicks out of town.
No,
Donaldson's been next up since.
I want chants.
We have fuck Altuve chants going on everywhere in New York, by the way. It happens in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
It's happened
in
MSG.
To be more relevant.
It's happened anywhere.
Yeah.
It's pretty loud.
It needs to be more relevant. It needs to go. Loud. It needs to be so dirty that the stench chokes the Yankee brass and they have to act. That's where it should go.
That was 2 weeks ago.
No, that's where it should go. Like,
it was the Canadian smoke.
No, see, you're saying that what I'm proposing is unrealistic, and it's not.
No, but
when the people speak, action
Jerry,
happens.
I'm telling you to be specific.
Do you want me to write the chants out?
What do you want them to chant? Yes, give me chant number 1, because Fire Boone happens all the time. They booed Cashman when he showed up. They booed Hal when he showed up. So tell me, what should these chants be?
The fans should be creative. They can get creative. We're here in New York City,
which
is the capital of the world, and it should be like Stanton must go.
Stanton must go, because
Stanton must
you
go.
Feel that.
No, I think Giancarlo Stanton, whatever his name is, he has to go.
Giancarlo Stanton.
He has to go.
Okay.
He has to
you
go.
feel it, so you can start a one-man show.
You're
tomorrow.
telling me that if you ask 1 million Yankee fans,
yes,
that 999,000 of them aren't going to agree with Stanton must go.
No.
Really, they want him to stay. They want
think...
him. We've had him since how? All right, let's not make this about Giancarlo Stanton. You know how I feel.
I know
he has to go.
Well,
but that's just an
example.
example.
I knew this was going to happen. So.
If people don't like what Boone's doing, then Boone must go.
But they can't fire Boone already. That's happening.
No,
I'm just telling you, for someone who's at the stadium, I hear it constantly.
Every night at the stadium, it should happen. Not
Big Baby
it
does it all the time. Big Baby, who's the new Muppet, he.
No. It has to be a chant like the "Who's Your Daddy" chant against Pedro Martinez in Game 2. It has to be that deafening.
But
that's what I'm talking about. This is what I want.
Everyone agrees with it. Not everyone agrees with it, though.
Oh, they don't? No, he's great. No, it's
no,
great
no,
results.
But not
it's great results.
No. Hold on. We want to get into the results there, though. Again, since Boone has been the manager since 2018, gosh. They went to the ALCS. That's a fire the manager offense. If you don't win the World Series, fire the manager.
No, I'm not.
2019.
We're talking about a body of work. Body of work. So the fans need to get angry, and they have to be angry and have to show it, and they have to bring power back to the people in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium every night. I don't want to see margaritas and people eating sushi and all this.
You
I
eat sushi at the stadium. What are you talking about?
That's not relevant. That's not relevant. Because I'm as dirty as they get, and you know that.
Jerry wants to see his colleagues picking up popcorn boxes after the game and eating the popcorn out of the boxes.
I want the fans to be so dirty and upset that they forget the popcorn, they eat the box.
Oh my God.
They're like animals. They're like animals that are starving for a World Series and back to Yankee greatness. Yankee exceptionalism.
Jerry's going with me to the game tomorrow night. I'm going to try to get pictures
at the head of the table.
Okay.
That's what we need. That's what we need. We need the Yankees to be the greatness that they are, the history of who they are, and the fans have to demand it back. Because right now we're letting them have the keys to the kingdom, and they're burning down the whole castle. They're burning down everything.
I wanted to bring in these numbers, but this is some stuff from one of them was Brian Hoke. All right. So he tweeted yesterday, the Yankees batting average is 195 and an OPS of 599 since June 4th, are now both the worst in Major League Baseball. Just to give a number.
It feels like the worst in Major League Baseball history. But
it does feel like that.
I know it's not.
All right. Katie Sharp. Yankees now have a .299 on-base percentage. Only the Royals and Yankees are worse this season. They haven't finished the season with a sub-300 on-base percentage since 1968.
And
so they're not even getting on
the old-timers, that were real dark days. We're talking sound like 5 people at the stadium.
1990. It sounds like 1990, Jerry.
The late 60s sounded really ridiculous because they said they used to bang the chairs and it used to echo the entire ballpark, and a lot of times the chairs would break because it was so old, and no one was there to watch Yankee baseball because it was an awful dry spell.
Yesterday's game. This is the 19th time that an opposing starter has gone 7+ innings pitched versus the Yankees. That's the most in Major League Baseball. Second most is the A's with 16. Last year, this happened 18 times in a regular season versus the Yankees.
Al Pacino, I rest my case. Eddie, what more ammunition do you need than the people to get absolutely angry? Let's get the person that goes there for a happy hour. Look, you both need to be a leader right now. This is a challenge to both of you.
Why don't you join? Why don't you join and be a leader then? You're talking a lot of crap.
It's time.
Yeah. Get on your horse.
It's time
get your
for
polo
that guy.
shirt and let's go.
It's time for that guy in his khakis, bringing 2 girls to the stadium that have no idea what baseball is, to just join a movement. And they don't even know what the movement is. They don't even know what it is, but they join. They join the movement. They're like, la, 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 wow, we're here. They're taking selfies and everything. And then boom, something happens. And Lisa and Eddie have gotten to them. And now they're chanting what you want them to chant. And they're actually making an impact on the future of the New York Yankees. This is where we are now. There is no hope.
The room's getting darker.
There's no hope.
It's getting closer.
I'm telling you right now.
What's going on over there?
There is no hope. There is no hope right now until the people take action and bring it back. There is no hope because this is a trend that if you're not watching, listening, all 5 senses. It's very clear. We're
Smelling?
not going in the right path.
Are they smelling?
It's gotten to the point where I think this weekend was that turning point where what can we do now? It's in our blood. We love the Yankees. It's not logical. We understand that. But at the same time, we can't just sit here and do nothing. We can't.
Well,
it's gotten to the
It's going to
point.
be so interesting to see what you do tomorrow night.
I'm
going to document this.
You could do what you want, but the point is that you gotta take the lead, Ed. You gotta take out Mike Francesa. You gotta take out LaGreca. You gotta take them all. They have nothing on you. They have nothing on the show. I challenge them. To a mic off and to get judges. I will get the judges. I will get the judges because they do nothing. They just talk about it and they do nothing. And they're like, oh, yeah, this, that. Michael K's on his phone looking awfully annoyed to just be on the show. He's like, who knows?
Lisa, this has gone into a dark place now.
Time for you.
Literally.
It's time for you to get the people going and make it happen. This is one of the biggest meetings right now.
Oh, wow.
For this season is that the people take back the stadium, they take back the Yankees, and we go back to glory. And that's it. I'll stop right there. I have to stop.
All right,
because I'm getting angry, I'm getting sad, I'm getting passionate, I'm getting happy. I'm not happy because I don't think it's going to happen. This was a turning point this weekend. This was a turning point.
Jerry, it starts tomorrow night when you're at the stadium again. You have a chance to start it against the Mariners.
Time is an issue sometimes.
If you can show up before first pitch and get there on time. And
see, that's a low blow. That's like putting me into a category.
No. That's not what I said.
With the happy hour.
Oh no,
crew.
I never said that.
That's not where I am.
But if you show up at 7:30 with sushi in your hand, then that means you've kind of negated everything you've said.
I've earned the sushi.
Or maybe he's just.
Oh, you earned the sushi now.
I've earned the sushi. Most people don't earn the sushi. They don't earn the sushi.
Maybe he's just in the mood for some sushi.
No, but that's the thing. But they eat the sushi like they're at a restaurant, and the game is like a painting on the wall of the restaurant. That's what's been going on at Yankee Stadium. People have to take this back. Like Boone has to be scared to come out to make a pitching change. That's where we have to get this to. Hal Steinbrenner can't show up anymore.
He was scared to take Severino out in the fifth inning, apparently on Tuesday night at Citi Field.
Either way.
Yeah, all right, Jerry, you can join in on a segment because we have a couple of segments to get in. You can try to join in there.
I'm gonna mute now, like I'm at work.
No, you're here. Top of the heap, you're in this. The hitter of the week, Lisa. Who's your hitter of the week this week? Because we don't have too many options here.
Listen, this was really, really hard. I had to pull deep in my soul, but I went with Jake Bauers.
Okay, that was one of two options I can possibly see realistically.
Yep. So real quickly, let me run through his stats. 783 OPS, 300 average for the week, 3 RBIs, 3 runs, 6 hits, 1 stolen base, 333 on base percentage, and a 450 slugging percentage. So there was only one other person, so I'm assuming that's who you picked, Ed. Who you got?
Gleyber Torres.
There you go.
As much as it pains me because I came in here wanting to rip him a new one this week, but offensively, not many choices. Over Gleyber's last 7 games, he's hitting .292 with a 346 on base percentage, 625 slugging, 2 homers, 3 RBIs, 2 walks, 7 hits, 3 runs scored, only 3 strikeouts. So I'll take that. He's my hitter of the week. Jerry, who's your top of the heap hitter of the week?
Gleyber Torres, obviously.
Okay. All right.
Not many options.
Gleyber Torres, yes. I don't hold it to him because we talked about it.
You did make some solid points there.
Gleyber Torres all the way.
Okay, so those are the only 2 options. If you would have come up with somebody else, I would have been pretty blown away by that.
Mike Stanton, Giancarlo Stanton had a few good foul tips over the week.
He had a home run also. So I know we were trying to forget that. All right, so the King of the Hill was our pitcher of the week. This we could have some options for. Lisa, who is your King of the Hill pitcher of the week?
Oh, I go first both times this time. Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you start it off with.
All right. Well, this week I picked Tommy Kahnle.
Good choice. He's been excellent since coming back.
Yes. So he had a 0 ERA for the week. He played in 3 games, 3 innings, 0 hits, 5 strikeouts, a 0 WHIP, and a 0 average against. So he's one of the ones getting it done. How about you, Ed?
I'm gonna go with Garrett Cole, because he did pitch his ass off on Wednesday night against Justin Verlander. We went over his line. Sucks there was a no decision, but 6 innings, 4 hits, earned run, no walks, and 8 strikeouts. Looked much, much better. That fastball was definitely a lot more livelier, bit more movement on it. Slider looked devastating. He looked way more into Garrett Cole form, which we're going to need desperately moving forward if we're going to get this ship turned around. So Tommy Kahnle, though, was the reliever option that there was. I mean, because King ruined it with his bad performance yesterday afternoon, but he has looked pretty good during the week. Jerry, who was your King of the Hill pitcher of the week?
Clark Schmidt.
Clark Schmidt.
Yes.
Want me to get? I know you don't have the numbers in front of you, but you want me to give his line for the week then?
You can give it, yeah.
Okay. No, it's fine. We did give him credit. He did pitch well. It's not his fault. He 4 2/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, and 3 Ks. And Jerry and I have commented on our group text. Clark Schmidt has looked much better, and you got to understand what are you looking for. He's a 4th, 5th starter. That's who he is. So if you're expecting him to go 7, 8 innings every week and strike out 10 plus every start with like a run earned, that's not realistic. Clark Schmidt has begun
it's
to. It's
not realistic in this culture.
Today, no, in 2023, you expect him to be a Cy Young candidate.
No, I will. Clark Schmidt is a very good pitcher that is 1 pitch away from being just as good as Nestor. He really is.
I thought you were going to say
he
like
really
as Garrett Cole.
He really is, and I think he'd be better than Sevy because Sevy could be damaged goods. Who knows about Rondon? So we're looking at a possible number 2 starter for the Yankees as we move into the 20s here. He has great stuff. He's 1 killer pitch away from developing to be a top 2 starter for the New York Yankees. He is. And he'll never get the opportunity to see his full potential because of how things are right now, generally in baseball, and especially with the Yankees. 4 2/3, he'll get a golf clap. Yeah, good start. Yay. Meanwhile, I'm sure Clark Schmidt, as a young man, is very capable of going 7, 8 innings.
He needs
just
to
like
be
they
more
did for 100
economical with
years.
his pitches, though. He needs
They
to
did it for over 100 years.
Pitches.
Clark Schmidt.
I'm just saying, he's burning through 100 in 5 innings.
Oh, yeah, and like you said, the alarm goes off at 100. Like, yeah, explosions everywhere. Yes, now you're all about that.
He's a back into the rotation starter.
You keep telling him that, maybe he'll believe that.
I'm telling you and Lisa that, and whoever's listening and watching, that's what I'm
maybe he's listening. Maybe he's watching.
Good for you, Clark Schmidt. You're a back into the rotation starter right now.
Wow.
In 2023.
And you're going to keep telling him that, and I'm telling him you're not. You are a top 2 starter for the New York Yankees in the 20s. Go get it. And I think when he has lines like this, hey, you know what? When he has a line like that, it could have been better. Give him a few more innings, he would have had 6 strikeouts. Maybe would have won the game.
5 or 6 runs.
Maybe would have won the game.
Okay.
We'll never know. We'll never know.
No, we won't know because the Yankees didn't hit anyway, so it didn't even matter because they didn't.
Maybe they would have got inspired by a young Clark Schmidt finding a way and fighting for his team, and maybe Clark Schmidt's like, I'm really fighting here, and I feel like my elbow is going to explode, but I'm still pitching. You guys need to hit. And maybe when they go downstairs on the commercial break, he smacks someone. And then someone gets a fire under there. No, but maybe that happens. God forbid that happened with the dirtbags, right? During the late 90s. God forbid it happened with the idiots, right? I'm sure they never did things like that to win championships. Never. No.
If you need to smack somebody in the face to win a championship, and then
maybe it's not smacking. Maybe it's more like, look at what this guy's doing. I mean, the least I could do is like run hard to first without getting injured.
Lisa.
Out for like half the season.
All right. So the Yankees will be welcoming the Mariners into town starting tomorrow night for a 3-game series before they face the Texas Rangers next weekend. Lisa, who's our pitching probables, at least as of right now? Did they freaking post them or not? Or we still got the magic guy of TBD ready
We have 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3.
Son of a bitch.
2 out of 3 games. Yeah. No, 2 out of 3 that we know, I should say. So not bad. In game 1, we have George Kirby going for the Mariners. He's a right-hand pitcher. He has a 6-5 record, 3.24 ERA, 71 strikeouts, and he will be facing off against our ace, Garrett Cole, right-hand pitcher, 7-1 record, 2.75 ERA, and 98 strikeouts on the season. Game 2 is where we have the Yankees' formidable player, TBD, facing off against Luis Castillo of the Mariners. Luis Castillo is a right-hand pitcher, 4-5 record, 2.73 ERA, and 98 strikeouts. So we'll see who they put in there. And then in game 3, on Thursday, the 22nd, we have Brian Wu for the Mariners. He's a righty with a 0-1 record, 7.30 ERA, 20 strikeouts, versus Domingo Germán. Let's see which version of him shows up for the game. Right-hand pitcher, 4-4 record, 4.30 ERA, and 65 strikeouts on the season.
That Seattle pitcher is also known as a nature boy.
Yes.
That was his nickname because of his
Brian
last name.
Woo!
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, listen, Kirby's going to be tough, but Yanks could go ahead. I know we gave them a hard time in Seattle, but the way the Yanks offense has been going, everyone looks like Sandy Koufax. So hopefully that is not the case. I'm just really hoping that this past weekend in Boston was rock bottom. Maybe they have a players-only meeting today or tomorrow before the game, and they get going.
I was going to say that. I think
it needs to be something.
Meeting.
Yeah, it needs to be something to get things going, because the Mariners aren't exactly the 2001 Mariners. The Rangers are good. The Rangers are a good upcoming team, but the soft part of your schedule is kind of dissipated at this point. You got to start beating whoever the hell's in front of you now.
And I'm going to add one thing. If they do have a closed door meeting, I do not need Aaron Judge to start it. I need somebody else to start the meeting. Aaron Judge could finish it. That's fine. But I can't have it be that he's always the one starting and leading. I know that's his role, but there needs to be other people that step up and do that as well. I need some other folks to feel that fire.
Agreed. I can see, I mean, the main leaders on the team have been Judge and Rizzo. Rizzo needs to be one, but also he has to go out then. If he wants to start the meeting, that's great. Then go out and go 3 for 3, go 4 for 4. You got to back it up too. On top of that, he has to lead the way, lead by example. I mean, there's no other better way to do it than leading by example. Jerry, do you want Clark Schmidt to start this players only meeting that we're hoping happens, or Gleyber Torres maybe?
Gleyber Torres.
No, I don't even know if there's going to be a players only meeting, because I think at this moment, from what I'm seeing, I'm not saying I know what's going on in the clubhouse, but do they even bother with the meeting, or do they just say we got another game going and let's play the game and go home?
They had one earlier.
Where are we going to have dinner? I heard this new restaurant's opening. I think we're off again. I mean, we had two days off last week. My toe still hurts. My ankle still hurts. You
keep throwing his toe out here, Jerry.
I'm just saying. But the point is, you're giving them credit. Their heads are on fire and they see the season in front of them completely being lost. I don't know if they actually have that character. I'm questioning their character.
So if we hear a report
New York
tomorrow
Yankees
that there was a players only meeting,
I question your character. I question if you are valid enough to represent New York City, that you can even serve me when I go tomorrow and watch you play, and I offer my precious time to watch you, that I think you're even valid enough for me to watch you. That's where we're at. And I don't even know if they care to have a players meeting, because that's what I'm seeing by their play.
Would you get excited if you find out there was?
I'd be cautiously optimistic that maybe they stopped the video games that they were playing, and the music that's so important to blast and all this. Maybe they stopped it for a minute or two and listen to someone. I'd be cautiously optimistic that was a meeting, that was a real meeting with people in each other's faces and a little tough love.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think that's happening. I'm sorry. I don't see it in them. You knew it was happening.
But we're never going to know the nature of the meeting. Just honestly, we're never going to know that.
No, I don't need to know the nature of it.
If somebody came out with a black eye, you'd be like, there was a meeting and someone has a black eye.
Or it could be someone's a complete asshole. If it was Josh Donaldson who came out with the black eye, I would be happy. But otherwise, maybe not.
I don't want problems tomorrow. I'm just saying.
I'll
have your back. I'll have your back.
Dick. I think he's a dick. I'm sorry. Wow. I think that's what he is. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Lisa. Go ahead.
Now I was going to say, I don't just want a meeting. I want production after.
Of
right?
Course.
I want to know there was a meeting. I don't need to know what was said in it, but what I need to see is that there was a fire lit under multiple people after that continues, that then ignites the other people who haven't caught up yet. They get that fire lit under them as well. That's really what I want to see. Because you could talk all you want, or you could not talk all you want, but at the end of the day, I need to see some actual play happen on the field in our favor.
No,
I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, no. If there's a meeting and they go out and get swept, then the meeting means nothing. I'm just saying, in the moment, if we're hearing going into tomorrow before the game tomorrow, it's hey, Yankees had a players-only meeting. It was closed door. Some people had some strong words to say, this and that. I would feel like, okay, cool, this is going. Now you have to back it up. That's not just it. You need to go out and take it on the field and show that this actually meant something. Because if it didn't, then we have the answer that we need. This is a bigger problem than we had thought. So,
a lot of problems in the Bronx right now. A lot of problems.
Yes.
And we know we can't have the owner go in his suit and his Yankee rings that he's never earned and start talking. Can you imagine Hal Steinbrenner going to the middle of the clubhouse and talking to them, and them even like knowing who he is, maybe, or like, oh wow, the owner's here. In the past, whether it was Colonel Rupert, whatever, it was like a big deal. Like everybody was afraid of him. Obviously, George Steinbrenner, some people loved him, some people didn't, but he did have the power to own the room. Does the ownership of the Yankees have that right now? I don't think so.
But I also don't need, but I'm going to state this again, I don't need Hal to be George. Jerry, we both know very clearly, we've discussed this 100 times. George, people romanticize George's time as the Yankees owner, but those who really recall it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows and championships every single year. There was also times where he was completely over the line and out of control, and therefore his suspension when he tried to get something on Dave Winfield.
No, it's ridiculous. Though
it was insane.
I'll give him the credit though that when he spoke, the players listened to the point where that's unanimous, and even Mattingly would say to Jeter, like, again, his name comes up. Like, what are you doing? Like, stay busy, even though there was like nothing going on and they were just in an empty field. Like, you never know who's watching. Yeah. So, but that was that culture. And I think he at least would hold up a hardworking, if you're not performing, you're going to get written up sort of culture in some way. Not that we all like getting written up, but I think an owner to stand there and say, it's very simple. I just want to see you guys hustling so hard that your life depends on it, because it does. Because you might like the life you have now with your partner or your wife or this or that or whatever it is. It's nice and cozy here in the Northeast. You can find yourself pretty fast in Canada with the Blue Jays, really hot in the summer on the Marlins. So make it happen, because you're embarrassing me. And this is my team. And if you don't want to be here, that's fine. There's the door. But if you're going to be here, you're going to be great. So figure it out. And we have all the tools and resources to make you great. There's no excuses not to be great. So be great. Okay? And that's it. And by the way, you're serving the fans. So when you look at them, smile.
I don't think that's a problem.
Smile.
I think that's
like, appreciate them, because they can leave real fast. And they're not chopping my head off. They're not going to come for me like they came for my dad. And then like, just have that power. Have something. Someone show up. Like, be a leader. And I don't know what Judge is doing. Like, he seems strong. He's a big guy. But the results aren't there.
No, he's a leader of the team. But when you're on the IL, you can't really. Someone else needs to pick up the slack who's on the field.
Maybe not. Maybe he starts grabbing people by the neck.
Yeah, but when you're hurt, it doesn't exactly have the same weight.
What, he's going to hurt his thumb now because he grabbed someone by the collar?
No,
I mean, what? I mean, are we? Come on.
So Jerry, we've both been on teams. We very clearly know someone who's trying to go ahead and bark orders and lead the team. If they're not going out and playing hard and doing the same thing, they can't. When someone's hurt, they can't actually do it.
But what if it was like an old man that was in a league for a long time, which he's not? But I'm just saying, like, even though he's not playing, a guy like Don Zimmer coming up to you in the locker room, even though he's up to here to you.
But he's on the coaching staff. That's not one of the
understand,
same.
But the power of leadership is the question here. Who is the person that has that power to own the room and to get the team to actually mentally understand the season is like almost over? And if it's not over, then we have to go these ridiculous hoops and hurdles to get to play the Rays, let alone like even make it. A half game up right now, not good. And by the way, we're about 1 or 2 swings away from this very injury-prone team to even getting worse. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying like, would you be surprised if it's like Rondon? Yeah, he had that rehab start. They shut him down. Wouldn't be surprised. Would you be surprised? Like, yeah, DJ is playing hurt and we got to shut him down. Wouldn't be surprised. Or he's getting more maintenance days. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Look at the outfield last night. I'm not saying that like these guys aren't trying, but that's a really soft outfield for the New York Yankees.
The outfield tomorrow night is supposed to be getting Bader back in center.
Fine.
And actually, just for you, Giancarlo Stanton's supposed to be playing right field tomorrow night.
Oh.
Just for you.
Oh, we are making a trip to right field. I am going public right now. And I'm not going to do anything wrong, but he might ask out of the game.
That's never
I'm gonna be honest. He might. If you see Giancarlo out of the game by the 7th inning,
it's because of you.
It's a reason. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it is.
Because he acts out of a game when there was nobody in Miami. I have 2 witnesses.
Fantasies.
And I was one of the only people in right field, and I let him have it. He did not come out for the 7th inning on.
Okay.
And it was because of me.
He would snap you in half.
That's fine. But he couldn't take it verbally because he knew everything I was saying was true. Okay. And now I'm back.
All right. We're going to wrap this up.
We're going to right field. We're going to right field tomorrow.
I have no interest in going to right field.
You're not going to go to right field.
I like my seats. I'm going to stay.
You're going to stay in your seats, and this is what I'm talking about. We have to take it back.
This is what's going to happen. We're playing you off now.
I hope we hit the phone tomorrow. Okay. And the Ace win the game.
Yes, let the Ace win the game. Let's get back on track. Thanks for joining us as always. If you joined us on Facebook, be sure to check out the Empire 161 Show Facebook group. There's we share our lineups and highlights and all that kind of stuff on the Facebook group, so check that out. If you're joining us on Facebook, also check out Pop Culture Pros, because that's represented by PopCulturePros.com. YouTube, subscribe to Pop Culture Pros, and Twitter, follow at Empire 161 Show, and on Instagram, give us a follow on at @the_Empire_161_show. Jerry, thanks for joining us on this Monday afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining us. You're always welcome to join us.
I'm praying to the gods of the Yankees.
By the way, today was Lou Gehrig's birthday as well. So
yes.
Make sure we get that in. Iron Horse.
Pray to the Iron Horse. To give us the power back.
Be sure to check us out. We'll be back next week.
Thank you, Lisa and Ed.
Thank
I'll
you,
spend
Jerry.
the rest of my dark days until Tuesday.
Wow. It's only one more day. Don't worry about it. Enjoy the rest of your darkness retreat. And let's go Yankees. See you next week. Peace.
Bye, everybody.